I'm RJ,
I'm John.
and this is Super Potion. It's our video gaming podcast and other bullshit.
You sound really excited right now.
I am. I'm super excited, John. Why aren't you? Pump it up. Pump up the volume and the caffeine levels.
I don't have any more caffeine. I drink
We'll
all the coffee.
we'll just fix you up to a caffeine IV line. How about that?
I mean, that would be awesome, but I'm a little worried about you hooking an IV into my arm. I don't think you have any training to do that.
It's fine. You just got to find a blood vein. Vessel. Something in there. Something that's transporting blood. Just stab it right into your heart.
Yeah, I'm more worried now. I don't want things stabbed right into my heart.
Hey, so I think we should just stop being a video gaming podcast and talk about bad medical practices. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Our very first podcast, and we've already just switched gears entirely.
I mean, it's a little bit more direction than we had to begin with.
Okay, so, first episode, first discussion. We started playing Stardew Valley this week, right?
Yes, we both logged 23 and 24 hours into Stardew Valley.
Good game. I meant to, get it earlier than I did. I've been talking to a friend who's had it since the beginning. I think it came out in, March 2016. I don't expect you to know this. Really,
Yeah.
I should, all things considered, considering I try to be prepared for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, first episode, we're just working things out. And I started playing the day before this new update came out, version 1.1. I think you started playing the day 1.1 came out.
Yeah, so I don't actually know the difference between the two. I didn't look into this.
Okay, so here, let me break it down for you. Version 1, berries were the best. There was nothing better you could grow. And animal products were useless. They were so not worth your time. If you wanted to keep animals, it was purely for the aesthetic. Version 1.1 dropped the prices of several of the king crops, as it were, and boosted the selling price of stuff like mayonnaise. So
that's
you could
good.
you could keep animals and make a profit still.
Do you want to know why that's good?
Why?
One of the first things I invested in was a chicken coop and mayonnaise machines.
I love the mayonnaise machine. I wish I could speak, considering we're doing an audio format thing.
You're a professional now.
Oh,
You're a professional speaker. Just because you do it bad doesn't mean you're not a professional.
That's fair. That's fair. So last night, before I really get into what I did in Stardew Valley, I want to tell you about. So I upgraded my coop, right, to the big one.
Yeah.
So I have an incubator and stuff, and I can keep double the number of animals inside the coop.
I thought it was 4 versus 6.
I think it's 4 versus 8, and then the deluxe coop can keep 12.
Ah.
But anyway, upgrading the coop to the big coop allows you to buy ducks
Okay.
from Marnie. So I was in a Discord call with a friend of mine, and I was buying my duck, and I just used the randomized name option when buying animals.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just hitting the randomized button, and I was reading out the names, and now I have a duck named Shopabella.
Wait, what?
My duck is named Shopabella. Shopabella. Shopabella.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a really weird name.
It's a really weird name.
Okay, so
So what did you do in Stardew Valley?
I just want to say I named all of my chickens after Norse gods.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Like Thor, even though they're hens. Thor, Loki, Tyr, and the other one's name is Odin.
Nice.
Odin was my first chicken.
My 2 chickens are named Fa, F-A, and Mimi.
Nice.
Yeah, they're cute. Not as memorable as Shopabella, but they can't all be winners.
That is one of my thoughts. One of the things I jotted down is that Stardew Valley is just a really kind of cutesy game.
It is. It is adorable, and I love it. I really love games like this, and I can tell a lot of effort was put into it, and it really shows, and it's just a really pleasant experience. And I've already plugged 24 hours into it.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And you did that all in 1 week, I believe.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, you did 23 in like 5 days or something.
We don't need to discuss this.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so tell me what you did in Stardew. I mean, other than the chicken thing.
So yeah, my farm, it's basically, it's just got a little chicken coop, and it's got 4 mayonnaise machines next to it because I don't want to like mayonnaise all of the eggs individually.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta stick all the eggs in their own mayonnaise machine and then just come back to it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And in the top left corner, this is the only other like permanent structure I worked on. I have a bunch of maple trees with taps on them and bee houses because I'm kind of partial to things that just kind of do their own thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't have to plant flowers there. I have thought about planting flowers there and I haven't gotten around to it. But
It is super worth it.
I mean, it's been winter for like most of the time I've been building this, and it's all by the granddad's grave.
Oh, that's
So-
pleasant.
So I hope he likes sweet things.
Hey, grandfather, do you mind if I lather your gravestone in honey?
Honestly, if I were dead, I wouldn't mind.
Because you're dead. Okay. So, do you have any like big goals you want to work on in Stardew Valley right now? Are you just like working on this tree automation thing?
I had a goal a while ago which was I'm going to get to the bottom of the mine.
Oh, wow, yeah. How far down are you?
I got to the bottom of the mine.
Oh, nice.
It was not that difficult.
No, I will say, like, the mine, it can be difficult depending on how and when you're trying to do it in your day in Stardew. Just because, like, you might be running out of energy, or you're like me and you don't want to pay precious gold on food or something like that, and you're just subsisting on the stuff you pick up off the ground because you're a gross, disgusting farmer person. So, like, I don't go down to the mines very often in my game. I can see myself doing that more in like another file, but I've only gone down to floor like 30.
Ah, all right. So are you finished with year 1?
I'm not yet. I'm still in winter. And so like what I've been doing is trying to focus on like a couple different goals all at the same time. So like my first goal was, I want to upgrade my house, which I did in, I think that was early summer. And then I said, my next goal is going to be build a silo. Because for those of you who don't know, you can't harvest hay from the long grass on your farm until you have a silo. The game does not tell you this. And it makes keeping chickens and other livestock a real pain in the butt because you have to buy the hay from Marnie until you have a silo, which just completely obliterates any chances of you having a profit off of your livestock.
Yeah.
Even with like the mayonnaise machine or the cheese maker.
I mean, my problem with the whole getting hay from your grass thing is that the first thing I did in Stardew was just clean off my land. Like I just inherited the farm and I looked around and I was like, wow, this place is a dump. And so I just started chopping away at trees and hacking away at grass and mining away at the rocks to get everything off of the land so it's cleared out for like...
That does give you a nice resource, kind of store.
Yeah, but the problem is that the grass, it doesn't give you its best resource if you don't have the silo.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the nice thing about Stardew, I think, is that you really have, like, unlimited save files. I looked it up after a friend was like, you only have 3 save slots. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you don't. And then the internet agreed with me. I haven't tested it out personally. But, like, your first game, unless you're like me and you're just reading through the wiki and stuff, because that's the kind of person you are, like, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And you're like, oh, dang, why did I do that? And then you're like, okay, well, eventually you get tired of playing Stardew, because it doesn't have a real end game, as far as I can tell, because it's not about, like, the long term. You're not going to play this game for 30 in-game years.
Yeah.
That'd be just, ugh.
I mean, you might.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, a lot, like, I don't know how to put it exactly, but, like, you're learning and you're playing this game until you get bored of it. And then you put it down for a little while, or maybe you like playing it obsessively, and that's fine too. But then you get done with your first file, and you're like, well, I've done everything I can here, so let's start over from the beginning. And then your second and every other game after that, you've learned so much, and you're like, well, I could do this better. I could plant not just parsnips,
You just get a better farm faster, right?
Yeah, and you can do different things. Like, if you want to focus purely on growing crops in your first file because that's what you think the game's about, and then you're like, well, this isn't fun for me anymore. You can do different things. Like, you can work toward having a just ranch. You could just have livestock.
So I think I think you've answered this question a little bit, but I want to know, like, what all is on your farm?
Oh, right, I started talking about what I was like, my goals and stuff. So yeah, I bought and built the silo, and then I got the coop, and then I got the Mayo machine, and then as I was moving into fall, I knew that my next goal was going to be planting the spring fruit trees. So because I want to do that, I like trees, and especially the cherry tree is really pretty when it's producing cherries. So I wanted to have like a little orchard. Orchard? I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Orchard.
Sweet. So I wanted to have that like to the left of my house. And so I have 2 cherry trees, 2 apricot trees, an apple tree because the cart lady was selling those for cheap because they're like 4,000 from Pierre. And I got this one for 1,200.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real nice. And then I think I got an orange tree growing. So like year 2 for me is going to have a lot of fruit.
Yeah, so you just got a little orchard going on there.
Yeah, it's going to be real pretty. I really like it. I wish they were less expensive, but I can understand why. Especially if you consider that like gold in that game is like, if you have 10 gold, that's more like 10 cents.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Because like, oh, here's some pumpkin seeds which cost $150. No, here's some pumpkin seeds that cost $1.50. That makes more sense. Those are still some expensive seeds, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. My long-term goal was to get the greenhouse as fast as possible, but then I sold all my pumpkins, and I didn't put any in the community center because I wasn't paying attention. So now I'm in winter and I don't have any pumpkins.
Oh, that's a shame.
On the bright side, I completed the crafting room in the community center, which restores the bridge to the right of the Adventurers Guild by the mines, which leads to the quarry. So now I have like an infinitely respawning source of just a ton of rocks and ore. I have enough gold ore to make a second gold bar. I've got just a ton of iron ore and a ton of copper ore. And my current goal is like, oh hey, I'm gonna upgrade my my tools for spring. So I have the copper watering can, and I think my next one's gonna be the hoe, and then I'm gonna focus on upgrading the pickaxe up to steel by the end of winter.
Okay, so I've looked up so little stuff about this game. Alright, so you know that cutscene with the mayor that he takes you to the community center and he's like, oh man, nobody comes here anymore and it's all shabby and there are these like ghosts, but I don't see them. Yeah, as soon as that happened, I was just like, I'm not interested in any of this, and just went back to what I was doing.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Are you more interested in making money?
What?
Are you more interested in just making money?
I was just more interested in developing my farm into a farm that like does farm stuff.
But
fair. Here's my thing. I didn't know what the community center did. You know, like if I had just bothered to look into it a little bit, I would have like met the wizard and done everything before like year 2.
I would like to point out, you don't have to go to the wiki to know this. Like, each room tells you what it will give you if you complete it.
I know, but I didn't look at it at all.
Oh.
Like, not at all.
Oh, boy.
I just walked out.
But how about those little ghosties, the Junimos?
I was not interested.
They're adorable!
I know. I was not interested.
Actually, that is a perfect little segue into the 1.1 updates. Because the first thing I want to talk about in the update is the Junimo hut, which is an item that you can put on your farm, and the Junimos will come out and harvest crops for you.
What?
Yeah! You can have those little bouncing, like, square dudes just getting your crops for you. And then you can just, like, walk over to the hut and be like, hey, where's my crops? And they'll hand them to you. And you don't have to do that yourself anymore.
Alright, see, now that automates crops. That's good news.
That...
Because I wanted to make my whole farm completely automated. Like, if I could... Anything I can automate, I want to automate. Like, I've invested too much time into making sprinklers.
Yeah, sprinklers are real good. I mean, are you making the quality sprinklers? Because the regular sprinklers are terrible.
Yeah, I'm making the quality sprinklers.
Okay. Well, see, the
I mean,
thing is,
I developed a way of organizing the regular sprinklers to where they're not that bad, but they're not good either. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that.
I mean, you can have more crops if you go with the quality. Iridium sprinklers are the best, and I
didn't know
just
they exist.
don't really. I don't know when you get the ability to craft them, but I think they water in like a 5x5 area.
I mean, iridium's really hard to get anyway.
Yeah, I only have 3 ore of that.
Did you get a meteor fall on your farm?
You need a gold pickaxe for that, though.
Oh yeah, I already have that.
Yeah. See, my thing is, real quick, I want to talk about this because, like, I'm a fan of the Harvest Moon series, which is now Story of Seasons, which I don't really want to get into right now, but those are good games. I really want them to take a look at the popularity of Stardew Valley, which I highly doubt they will. But, like, long term, I think Stardew does a lot of things better, like the automation of your farm if you have enough money and you're successful enough. I think that's amazing. That's just really a good idea. Like, you can do more with all of your produce and animal products and stuff. Like, you can make mayonnaise, you can make cheese, you can make wine, you can make jelly, you can make pickled vegetables. Stardew Valley just does so much right, and I think it's such a good, interesting game. And we've been talking about it for quite a bit now, and I just love it so much.
Well, I had one more question.
Okay, go for it. Shoot.
Have you developed a routine?
Like, oh, I'm going to water these first, and then I'm going to go check out my chickens, and then, like, that sort of stuff?
Uh-huh.
Yes and no. Like, when I'm actually growing crops in spring, summer, and fall, yes, I'll go water those first, and then I'll pet my cat on the head and make my cat love me, and then I'll harvest
a dog.
it. Yeah, that's fine.
You heathen.
Cats are better.
Dogs are better.
It's okay to be wrong. Anyway, and then I'll go, grab harvest my crops, and then I'll head on down to my coop and say hi to my little chickens and my duck, Shopabella. I love that name. It's so great. And then, in winter, though, I've been more loosey-goosey with it. And I'll spend some days fishing, or I'll go down to the mine. Like, I didn't get down further than, like, level 15 before winter in the mine. And in the first 9 days of winter, I'm down to floor 30. So, I mean, I'm not focusing a ton on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, moving
I just
slowly
went
toward a
all
bunch of my
in on
goals.
the mine. I just want to point that out.
Which is good for getting, like, gold ore and stuff. So that's nice. Did you get the skeleton key?
I got the skeleton key, yes.
Do you know what that's for?
No.
First of all, it unlocks one of the one arcade machine in the saloon that you can't play. You can unlock that one. It's a little Junimo game. I don't know exactly what it is. The other thing it does, though, is if you complete the vault bundle in the community center and restore the bus to working order, you can go to the desert, and that'll unlock a second dungeon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is.
Does it go to another 120 floors?
I don't think so.
I hope so. I need something to do.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read through some of the 1.1 update changes for Stardew real quick. Like
Okay.
The new farm maps. Like the original was just one. The original version of Stardew Valley only had the one map, which is it's the standard farm, which is just a bunch of open space for you to do whatever the heck you want with. The other farm types were added in 1.1. There's the wilderness farm, which causes monsters to spawn at night.
That's mine.
There's the hilltop farm, which has a small mineral deposit where ores spawn, including a unique geode-bearing ore. Then there is the forest farm, which provides you with more foraging opportunities and a unique type of weed that always drops mixed seeds. And then the final farm is the Riverland farm, which is a real test in like space organization and management because it reduces the size of your farm by a ton because your farm is broken up into small islands around which a river runs through, which, unlike the normal farms, all the other maps, allows you to actually fish for fish instead of just garbage.
Oh.
Yeah. And I personally think it's the prettiest map, and my second file in Stardew will definitely be on the Riverland farm.
I mean, all of that sounded awful until you were like, oh, it has the fish.
There's other updates, other changes and additions in the update include the shed building, which is to give people who are just buying deluxe barns to store preserve jars and, kegs. It is an empty room that can be decorated, the shed, which is nice, and it could be something to look at. People have already looked at it and said it's not nearly as good as the deluxe barn for storing your stuff, but it is a good bit cheaper. There is a mill building, which allows you to turn wheat into flour and beets into sugar overnight. Most people are like, oh no, that one's not so good, but it is very pretty and is a nice little addition to your farm, what with its, it has like a little animated windmill thing going on, which is real pretty. Windmill. And there's some other items that were added. You can make mead by putting honey into a keg. You can make coffee by putting 5 coffee beans into a keg. And coffee beans actually are brand new. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. You can upgrade your house again to give yourself a little cellar, which you can put casks in, which can increase the star quality of stuff like wine and cheese. Oh, and one lovely thing is, you can now move your buildings on your farm, other than, I believe, your house, from Robin's construction menu.
I've taken advantage of that. I was relieved to know that it didn't cost anything.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Nice!
It doesn't cost anything. You just go there, and she'll just be like, all right, and then it's not even a process. She doesn't even have to go there. You just show up at your farm again, and it's moved.
Nice!
It's like she just runs over before you get there and just pushes it.
Oh, boy. One other thing I want to point out. Have you taken advantage of the friendship and dating mechanic in the game? No?
I do not want... all right.
That's fine. Real quick, though, I want to touch on something that was changed in 1.1. You can now divorce your spouse, and it leaves them as your ex, and if you try to talk to them, it'll be like, oh no, I'm trying to forget you and move on. Please stop trying to talk to me. But one other thing that you can do in this update, now that you have exes and stuff, you can go to an evil shrine where you can make offerings in exchange for dark magic. The two that I'm aware of, I'm not sure if there's anything else, but the first thing you can do at this evil shrine is basically delete your ex's memories of you, so you can try to romance them again. The second thing you can do, you can turn your children into birds.
See, this seemed like a really tame, family-friendly game until that happened, right? This is the kind of game that you would show children. You'd be like, here, this is a nice starter game. It's like Minecraft. You can just play this game, right? No.
Yeah, it's
not
real.
anymore.
It's real bad. I don't know how to feel about that. I understand it from a game mechanic point of view, but that really doesn't feel like it should be in Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
It's a game about living off the land and doing your day-to-day thing and moving away from the evils of corporations and stuff. And then out of left field, evil magic, evil dark magic, where you can delete people's memories and turn children into birds which fly away and are never seen again.
The turning of children into birds that's the one that's kind of crossing the line of this is no longer...
Are you going to tell me that you're okay with magic that deletes people's memories?
Sure.
Oh boy. Actually, real quick, 2 other additions to the game in 1.1 are the 2 catalogs. You can buy a catalog from Pierre and Robin. Pierre's, it costs 30,000 gold and gives you unlimited free access to all wallpapers and flooring for your home. And Robin's furniture catalog item can be used for unlimited free access to nearly all furniture in the game. And I believe that one costs 200,000 gold.
Wait, 200,000 gold?
Yes.
Okay.
Because furniture is on a rotating stock sort of thing, and you're never sure which one you're going to get. So I can understand if people are toward the end game and they just want to decorate their house. I can see them, putting down the 200,000 gold to buy that item, just because you get free unlimited access to whatever furniture you want. Mm-hmm. Which I think that's a nice little money sink for people toward the end game. Again, I don't know how much money they're throwing around. Significantly less after the king crops were dropped in value. But it's still expensive, at least to me, where I'm running around with like 30,000 gold.
Okay, so we've gone through most of the things in my little list of thoughts. There's one thing that we haven't, we kind of talked about it, but not really. Because, you asked me whether I did it. It was the whole friendship and dating mechanic.
Yeah.
Which I just refused to touch on. However, the whole sense of community in Stardew Valley, it seems like it is to people who are just kind of like community starved, that don't have nice neighbors.
Sure.
That's what it's what dating sims are to lonely people, where it's like it's filling some need that some people have. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, I think we've been talking about Stardew for a little bit too long. It's a good game, but I think we've been going on just a little bit too long on this. I think we should move on.
Yeah, when I start talking about dating sims, we've been talking about something for too long.
Okay, so I remember you talked about having some thoughts on Civilization 6 earlier in the week.
Right, the game I never played.
It'd be hard to play it, considering it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Comes out on the, 21st?
I have no idea.
I could look, but I'm pretty sure it's the 21st.
I'm trying not to touch my keyboard or mouse right now. Otherwise, I would just be finding this out.
Yeah, October 21st.
Nice. All right. But yeah, wow, that's actually pretty soon. But yeah, I did have some thoughts.
Share them with me.
Okay. So my first thought was, lots of the leaders, and even America, it's kind of like they didn't choose really notorious, I immediately know what country they're from and who they are and what the history is. They just kind of chose people I don't really know. I have it specifically written down in my thoughts of who the hell are these leaders, which it's just kind of I know who Teddy Roosevelt is, obviously, because I live in America and I get an American education.
Rough Riders.
What?
Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. It's like a band.
Yeah, wait.
Move on.
No.
Continue.
No, it's not a band. It should be a band. I don't know.
Teddy and the Rough Riders? I'm sure that has to be a band. Okay, keep talking. I'm going to look something up. No, Google does not give me any results for Teddy and the Rough Riders other than Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. I think this is a prime opportunity to start a band.
It's not going to be me. Listeners, if you want...
You can play the mandolin.
What? I can't play in a band. I don't.
First things first, we need to find someone named Theodore to be the Teddy. Okay, continue. We
Yeah, this has gotten a little bit tangential. But this would be hard I should probably pull up some leaders, huh? The only other one I know of off the top of my head is Gilgamesh, who is the leader of Sumeria, or the civilization leader of Sumeria. Mm-hmm. Who wasn't a real person. Yeah, so the Civilization 6 leader of Rome is Trajan.
Who is apparently very famous in this kind of game. What would you classify Civilization 6 as? Civilization as a series, not just 6. Turn-based strategy?
Yeah, it's a turn-based strategy.
I was reading about him, and apparently, his whole thing, he's an actually famous Roman leader sort of guy. He did a lot of really cool stuff, but he's just not... I do actually like the leader decisions. I was reading about them, and I don't recall, any of them anymore, but they were actually notable people. It's just not... They aren't the sort of leaders who made it into the history books. Actually, they did, just not, general public school history books.
Yeah. And that's an issue for accessibility because
not
I
really.
don't know who these...
You can find if this is your first experience with them, you're like, wow, who was this? And you go look them up, and you're like, wow, this was a real cool guy.
I shouldn't have to do homework to play my game.
Who was a mythology guy.
I just want to know.
You don't have to do homework. Do you think that you need to do homework to play Civilization? You're just like, oh, I like this perk, and I like the look of their cities, so I'm gonna play this guy. Look, I'm just glad they picked someone other than George Washington or Abe Lincoln for America. Because I'm pretty sure it's been one of those two guys for every single Civilization game.
Okay, so Civilization 6, the animations in Civilization 6 look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I'll give it that. And also, they added tons of stuff. They added, like, being able to, like, micromanage your cities and, like, put things not in, like, the main city tile and, like, build buildings in, like, the surrounding tiles to
You
the
can't
city.
just slap aqueducts into every single city. You have to be near, like, a water source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. They changed the tech tree. They changed all kinds of stuff. And it wasn't just like they swapped it around. No, they added tons of stuff. So with all this taken in mind, I have a concern. My concern is already in Civilization 5, turns can take forever. All right?
Yes.
And you know, you've been in a game, you've anybody who's played Civilization has been in a game that has that one person. That one person that takes 10 hours per turn, and everybody else is
I'm not picking on anyone here, but the John of the group, right?
Yeah, me. It's been me. But I like to micromanage. My brain works like that. And yeah, this game is going to be awesome for me in single player with nobody yelling at me. But yeah, everybody else just going to have a book offhand to just read because it's going to take way longer per turn this game. You know, as opposed to Civilization 5. It seems like, because there's so much other things to micromanage. It's like they had a meeting and they're like, what do you think players will enjoy? I think they want more things to micromanage. That's going to be great for multiplayer.
At least they went with the right micro, though, because the other one was microtransactions.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Games are all about micros these days. We have two options, micromanagement or microtransactions. Which one should we go with? They just like spin a wheel.
Oh god. Well, we got lucky.
Yeah, we did.
We absolutely got lucky.
At least the people who don't make Civilization 6, at least they aren't owned by EA.
Yeah, at least they aren't owned by EA. So, RJ, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
You do play some Civilization, right?
I have 44 hours logged in Civilization 5, and I like the games. I'm not good at them, but I do like them.
Do you have a go-to Civilization?
I feel like I do. And I feel like it's either China or Japan, just because I like the early Civ, like the look of their cities, and they usually have perks that relate to my play style, which is more like, I just want to build cities. I just want to build some cities and have a good time.
Nice.
But I'd never really play around with the other civilizations, which I should. And if I do play 6, I think I will do that. Just because, like, as far as being a gamer goes, I'm not very great at video games. But as I continue to play them and I think about them, I can get better. And I think if I play Civilization 6, I'll be a better Civilization player than I was when I first got 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So China or Japan?
I'll get back to you on which civilization is my go-to after Civilization 6 has been out for a while, and I've played it a bit.
Okay.
Oh, India was another one I always went to. I don't know why.
Well, because India's pretty cool, right?
Sure. I can't eat their food, but it's good. So the next thing I actually have on the docket, is that even a word? Probably is. Oh well, anyway. Pokemon Generations episodes came out. Did you watch 5 and 6?
Yes, I watched 5 and 6.
So, tell me if I'm wrong here, but they should just stop doing things with the human characters.
All of it was just them doing stuff with the human characters.
It was bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's pretty animation. Other than Giovanni continually having real f***ed up anatomy, like, did you see his hand?
No, wait.
It was terrifying.
Pay attention to this.
That's fine.
I was more just paying attention to the dialogue.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. The dialogue isn't great.
I mean, the thing about what they were saying, that like Giovanni and his son both seem to like have this mindset to where like they can only have one thought in their head, and then everything else is I'm not sure how to explain. Everything else is just non-existent.
Sure.
So obviously Giovanni, being the leader of Team Rocket, believes, oh, I must have numbers behind me. We must have a large coalition of people, and that is all that matters in being strong.
Sure,
dude. I just asked you what you wanted to eat, what you had to eat today. I mean, whatever.
We have to have a corporate meeting about it.
But
I really liked Silver's thing in the games, where he had a Golbat for the longest time, And then after, like, toward the end game, or maybe it was in the end, like, he finally evolved his Crobat into Crobat. I meant to say Golbat, but I said Crobat too early. Which was real nice because, like, he viewed his Pokemon as only tools to be strong and whatnot. And then Golbat needs to have high friendship to evolve, so that was always a nice little touch, you know?
Right over my head.
That's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's pretty much me in Pokemon in a nutshell.
That's fine.
Just they do something clever and it just goes right over my head.
It happens so rarely outside of the Pokemon designs themselves.
So in episode, I believe 5, I don't think Team Rocket was in 6. I don't.
Yeah, 5 was a Giovanni and Silver and Looker.
Yeah, so there was more Team Rocket walking weird.
It was not as bad as episode 4, where they were just walking real janky. It wasn't as bad.
That's true, but they just showed less of them walking.
That's also true. Also, why did they let just like a random grunt use the radio tower?
Because they didn't have anybody else.
They have the 4 admins.
Oh.
What are their names? Here, I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, they have Team Rocket in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I think Gold and Silver as well, pretty sure, had Team Rocket being led by the executives. Archer was the guy in command, and then there was Ariana, Proton, and Petrol. One of them was the person in episode 3? No, 4. The purple-haired guy that Dragonite was looking at real mean. You remember that? No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They're not important.
Okay.
But, like, I'm pretty sure Archer was the one giving the broadcast in the games, not random Team Rocket grunt number 4.
I didn't know any of this happened in the games.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fine. I mean, Generation's entire thing is, hey, we're going to animate scenes from the games.
Yeah, I figured.
I do have to say, I really liked the animation in 6, and, like, covering that whole story bit, which has never really been touched upon to my knowledge in anything. Like, someone tells you the story of Entei and Raikou and Suicune. Hot dang, episode 6, animating stuff I don't think we've ever really touched upon in Pokemon. Like, someone mentions it in passing. I don't think the anime ever did this. Where, like, they actually did something with Ho-Oh reviving the 3 nameless Pokemon that became Entei, Raikou, and Suicune.
In feudal Japan.
In feudal Japan, which is Johto. I mean, hot dang. Ho-Oh looked amazing in animation.
Yeah, I mean, this team is really good at animating Pokemon.
Real good.
Not humans.
Not humans. Especially not Team Rocket grunts. How do people walk? Like zombies, right?
Yeah, like zombies.
I thought it was, all in all, I think the episodes are really nice, and, like, they aren't too long to the point of, like, oh boy, oh, this is not going to be great. Like, even the ones that are a little bit, like, I wish they weren't doing this specifically. Like, all the Looker stuff in Team Rocket, that's fine. I don't really care. Looker's an interesting character. I wish they were, like, doing him better, because, like, in the games, he has interesting and kind of funny dialogue in the way he speaks and stuff, which isn't really being conveyed in this animation, which is fine, because I guess they're taking a more serious route with him, which is fine. I just don't care for it personally. But all in all, I think the episodes they're short, sweet, give you a little taste of Pokemon,
They're
and
ridiculously short.
They're fine. They just give you a little taste, a delicious little lick.
Yeah, I mean they're good for what they are.
Yeah. So I think we need to move into the news. Pokemon
Yeah.
4th, October 4th. We're renaming October to Pokemon,
which will be henceforth known as
Pokemon
4th. I have lots of thoughts about this.
All right, so actually, you know what? Let's just dive right into the evolutions of our starters. Let's talk about those.
Let's not do that.
Why
There's
not?
a Rotom in the Pokédex.
You didn't know this?
There's a Rotom. No, I didn't know this. There's a Rotom in the Pokédex.
This was like
it
one
talks to you.
This is like one of the first things we knew.
I didn't.
You didn't catch this?
No, it was.
Holy
There's a Rotom in the Pokédex.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't know this.
Do you get to, like, use it in a battle?
I don't think so.
Do you get to catch a Pokédex Rotom later?
Probably not.
Awesome. There's a Rotom in your Pokédex.
Okay. So
I don't know. I'm just irrationally excited about that. Okay,
That's
let's
really
talk
cool.
about the evolutions.
All right, so let's talk about Dartrix first, the evolution to Rowlet. It stays a grass flying type, and it gets some like Aaron Hansen hair situation
Yeah, it
going.
gets emo hair.
Some Aaron Hansen hair. It's Aaron Hansen as a bird from Game Grumps, and I love it. I love Dartrix.
It's emo hair.
I love it so much. It's really good.
No. It's not good.
I love it.
It looks like an edgelord. Like,
Okay, it's not though. It's just I love it so much. Dartrix is so good. It like keeps the barn owl thing going and actually improves upon it by giving it a more of a heart-shaped face. And like its eyes are closed in the official artwork, but if you touch its hair and poke a refresh, it flips out on you. Its eyes go real wide. And I love how much character and personality it has. I just love it a lot.
Pokemon what?
Pokemon Refresh. Did you play X and Y at all?
Yeah.
Omega Ruby. Do you remember Pokemon to Me?
Yeah.
Poke Refresh is the replacement. It adds some more features and more stuff you can do with your Pokemon, like healing them of status conditions you can do in it.
Okay.
Yeah, fun stuff like that. So you don't need antidotes anymore. Hooray! But anyway, the animations absolutely look beautiful, like the ones we've seen in the trailer. They give all the Pokemon even more character, and they aren't living beings, obviously, but they give them more life, I think, and just make them more interesting. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about for Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
But we aren't talking about that. We're talking about the evolutions right now.
But yeah.
Okay, so
Dartrix has emo hair and is an edgelord.
I think Dartrix is amazing, and I love him, and it's just great. I love it so much. All right,
Let's move on to Torracat.
Torracat! Can't wait for that
has
firefighting.
changed barely any from its previous.
I disagree immensely. The colors are less, like instead of being super bright red and navy, we have like more of an orange color and like dark gray as the primary colors on the body, which is change enough. The front paws are much larger than the back ones, and that fire bell is so good.
It's not a dramatic. That's still not a dramatic change, though.
It is though.
It's still like the same body type and
I would like to point out, I made a joke about turning into a fire fighting type. There was a leak that said it might turn into a fire dark type. I'm fine with either.
I think I'd rather have a fire dark type.
Everyone gets up in arms about firefighting, like, oh, we can't have another one after Blaziken, Infernape, and Emboar all in a row. Like, yeah, I understand the disappointment, but we have now had, what's its name? Delphox, the fire psychic, which I think it's been enough time. I think we've had. I'm kidding. No, there's never been enough time. Please make it a fire dark type.
Yeah.
But it's animations that show it standing up on its hind legs, and its description mentions its cat punches that can bend iron bars and knock out large men with a single blow. Kinda sounds like a fighting type.
Yeah, kind of sounds like a fighting type.
But can we talk about for a moment how genius that fire bell is? It looks so good.
Did I mention how Pokemon things just go right over my head? Is there something I'm missing here?
Torracat has a little bell around its neck. Like it has like a golden part on the outside, and it has a little orange part in the middle. But that's fire.
It's fire?
Yeah.
Or does it just look like fire?
No, it's fire. Like the animations have it flaring up and everything, and that's where it sends out fire attacks.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is. It's real cool. I love it.
I mean, it's not cool because it's fire, but
All right, and now okay. Final thoughts on Torracat before we move on.
I don't know why I thought of Garfield whenever I looked at the initially. But I did think of Garfield. Now we can move on.
Hates
We're not
Mondays.
Going to address
I think
why.
Torracat's a good design. And now let's move on to Brion.
Brion. Okay, so.
Oh, please
I
let
wanna
me move
mention
back
that-
to Torracat for a second, because its
Okay.
Japanese name is Naya Heat. Okay, we can move back on to Brion now.
Okay, that was just worth mentioning.
It was.
It is stated that Brion is the pop star Pokemon, which means that I guess in Japan both male and female pop stars have to look like lollies because the Pokemon can be male or female, right?
Well, yeah.
Right, so, and they both look like that.
Sure, like an idol. They look like an idol.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. I like Brionne's design a lot. I wasn't a big fan of Poplio. Here's why I wasn't a big fan of Poplio. Poplio suffers from the same problem I have with Samurott. Samurott's problem for me is that its entire body, except for very small portions, are this really dull, dark, uninteresting blue. Poplio suffers from the same problem of being nearly the same shade of dark blue, and its entire body, save its snout and the frill around its neck, being this same solid dark blue color that just renders it completely uninteresting, and I don't like it. Brionne fixes this problem by going in a brighter shade of blue, which works for me. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, do you know that there's like a little bit of a controversy
About what?
about the fact that Brionne looks so feminine?
I think it's great. We've had, like, other than Braixen, this is like the first, like, quote unquote feminine looking starter, and I think it's high time that we've had one.
I mean, I don't care either way. I mean,
when we saw the leaked final evolutions and we had that siren for Poplio, I was super excited. I like went off on a rant with one of my friends. I was like, "This is super great!" Like Braixen's the only other like even remotely quote unquote feminine looking like starter we've ever had. I mean, it makes sense because of like their target audience. I'm sure because
there's the Fox Witch.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
Braixen is the Fox Witch.
I don't know Pokemon.
That's fine. But like, I'm just super pumped about this. Like, I understand their target audience is probably young boys and whatnot. So you got to have the starters all look super cool. But the fact of the matter is, you have an international success of a game, and millions of people are playing it. And I mean, I just think it's exciting and it's cool, and I really love the siren design, and I hope that's where Brionne is going. And I think it is.
I feel like you can't like. A lot of people aren't under the impression that you can't market a feminine-looking Pokemon to boys.
I don't think you have to.
Can.
You don't have to worry about it. I don't think that should be even a concern. Just design the thing and be like, "This is its cool design. Check out how sick it is." And people will be like,
I mean,
they'll like it or they won't like it. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people who are like, no, Samurott's super cool. And it is when it's standing on its hind legs. I agree with you. But other than that, and all its, like, in-game artwork, it's standing on all fours and it's terrible. But I just, I don't care. Some starter designs won't appeal to you. Just don't use it. Just don't use it. If you don't like Brionne, don't pick Poplio.
I mean, I'm really just being the devil's advocate. I really like Brionne's design.
I do too. I love it.
But
I love Brionne.
Yeah, out of all of them, it's my favorite. Which is strange because whenever I was looking at the first three, Poplio was like the worst because I thought they were going for a clown thing.
Yeah, sure.
It really does look like a clown.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I like Brionne because Brionne changes the base body color from a dark blue to this nice bright blue, and also gives like something else to the body, like how the flippers have that white on the end, that patch of white, which is nice and breaks up the monotony from Poplio. And also the frill around Poplio's neck that made it look so clown-like has turned into like a really nice dress, a real nice frilly dress, but it also makes it look like Brionne is jumping through 3 hoops at once, which I think is real clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that the ears kind of look like pigtails. It's real cute.
I mean, that's a design that's also been kind of criticized, because it just kind of makes it look like a lolly.
You're a lollipop.
Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
Am I a pretty lollipop?
Yes. Yes,
Thank
you are. But anyway, we're not here to talk about, like, people's ideas of Brionne and what starters can and can't be. We're here to talk about ours. What do you think of Brionne? Give me your opinion.
Oh, I love Brionne.
Same. I love Brionne a lot.
I really do like the design.
I think I'm gonna go with Poplio in my Sun playthrough now. Like, Moon is gonna be my first playthrough. I'm gonna definitely use Rowlet just because I still love Dartrix and Rowlet, and I just love that family. I'm real excited to see if that Archer Owl is real. And even if it's not, I think that the final evolution's going to be real nice. I'm going to like it a lot. So I am going to go with Rowlet for my Moon playthrough, but I think Poplio has finally beaten out Litten, because I was initially kind of on the fence, and I was like, I think I'll go with Litten, just because I kind of like the fire types. ever since I got away from water types in Generation 5.
I mean, I think it's really odd that you play both versions of the Pokemon game.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean, no judgment. You can do whatever you want. Do you want to go a little bit into why you play both versions of the Pokemon game?
I just love playing Pokemon, and I like having a main game that I don't restart. And it's like where I put my Pokemon that I like to keep, and it's my first playthrough. And then I get the other version to do repeat playthroughs on, like if I want to do a Nuzlocke.
Ah, all right.
And just to like try out other Pokemon that I didn't use in my first playthrough.
Because Pokemon games only have one save file.
Yes.
Probably do something about that.
I mean, ROMs, but no, we have to legally acquire all of our games.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody should be playing with pirated ROMs.
Exactly. Also,
that is bad.
I'm going to move on to the other Pokemon news now that we got on the 4th. The new online thing that's replacing like the PSS system and like the Link Center in Pokemon Centers. Remember that stuff? If you want to trade with people, you have to do that?
No.
Okay, that's fine. The Festival Plaza replaces that, and it's like a Disney-esque looking magical kingdom island thing that you can go to at any time. And there's like a bunch of stores and places you can go to buy items and like recolor your clothing if you want to have I like this hat a lot, but I wish it came in red. You can go to this Festival Plaza and dye it red. You can also go here to battle and trade with people online. You can earn festival coins for use in the shops by doing little odd jobs or missions. And I think it's a neat little mechanic. I'm not sure how it'll pan out and how useful it will be or how often I'll even look into it and use it. But it looks really interesting and really nice and is a nice little fresh take on the whole online aspect. I have seen a lot of people kind of compare it to the Join Avenue from Unova in Black and White 2. But considering I didn't have any opportunity to ever use the Join Avenue in Black and White 2, I can't really say anything about whether it's similar or not. What are your thoughts?
I don't really understand what all of this is.
That's fine. It's a place in the game where you can go online and battle people and trade with them. And there's little shops that you can do stuff at.
Yeah, it's those kinds of features that I just avoid like the plague in Pokemon games because I feel like I'm not playing the single player experience to be social.
Well, I think if you're more interested in single player, that this next feature that was released on the 4th will interest you a great deal. This is the Shopapella. It is a in-game place. I don't think you personally can visit it, but the Pokemon that you put in your PC can go to these islands and have like a little tropical getaway. We believe there are 5 islands in the game, but we've only currently seen 4 of them, and we have names for 3. The first
isn't the whole region like
islands? These are tiny little baby islands for Pokemon, like Onyx. But really, I think before I get into the different islands and describing what they are and what they do, I just think this is real interesting because, like before in Pokemon games, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw this Onyx into my PC." And it'll never see the light of day again. Mm-hmm. And now that Onyx can, even if it's still in theory in your PC, you can just throw it into the islands and it can have like a little tropical getaway and you can feel better about yourself.
That is fantastic. All right.
And
I'm just imagining all the Pokemon that I abandoned never to be used again, just running around and hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. Like they're just relaxing on a beach.
Yeah.
Drinking a mocha.
Mocha Frappuccino.
A pina colada is what I was thinking
of. An Oran Frappuccino.
What?
An Oran Frappuccino. Don't worry, it's a Pokemon joke. You'll get it in post.
Oh, okay.
I really like this, though, because it gives you an incentive to actually catch Pokemon and put them in your PC. Because you only start out with one of these islands, and you unlock the others by catching more Pokemon. We don't know, like, when you unlock the other islands, how many Pokemon you have to catch in them to get them.
I mean, you had an incentive before, which was the Pokédex.
This is like an actual incentive. So the first island you get is called the Isle of Beans. On this island, you'll be able to use Pokebeans, which are like the replacement for the cupcakes in Pokemon Me, to lure wild Pokemon to the island. If you interact with the Pokemon enough, then the Pokemon may join you as a Pokemon in your box. So for the very first time in a real Pokemon game, instead of like beating the crap of and enslaving a Pokemon you find in the wild, you can actually just make friends with them.
That's kind of alright. You know how in the Pokemon anime James would like Jesse and James, or no?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He would just kind of go up to Pokemon and be like, "Hey, do you want to help with the whole being on my team thing? Well, we're gonna be best buds."
Like, he actually makes friends with his Pokemon instead of like just throws them in a ball.
Yeah.
And uses them as a weapon.
It's gonna be like that, right?
I mean, you're still throwing them into battle and making them do stuff for you. But yeah, you instead of having to battle them to get them to join you. And like,
but they're doing it willingly.
This screenshot shows someone, like the wild Pokemon currently visiting their island are Skarmory, Scyther, and Pikipek. Pikipek being the early regional bird for Alola, which is a woodpecker. And like, those are some interesting Pokemon. Like, when and what decides what Pokemon are visiting your island? Like, if you can get a Scyther, even like a level 10 Scyther early in the game, that's really interesting. And it opens up a lot of possibilities for building your team. Like, oh, normally you can't get this Pokemon until really late in the game, but this one's visiting my island right now. Holy crap, I can catch it and use it on my team and use it in the game. That's awesome! Yeah. I mean, we don't know what's going on, what causes Pokemon to visit your island, or how to really get them to join you. I assume it's not going to be very difficult because, again, Pokemon is a game marketed for children, so I can't see it being too difficult to get them to join you.
Yeah.
It's a really cool feature, and I love it a lot.
Okay, so I do have questions for you in regard to the...
specifically this island?
Pokemon news, but... Wait, what?
There's more islands I need to get through.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. The second island we know about is the Isle of Fun, where you can send Pokemon into a cave to mine rare items for you, such as a Fire Stone, a Leaf Stone, a Hard Stone, and the brand new and like kind of glossed over Ice Stone.
Now, wait, hold on a second. Are you like sending the Pokemon to like slavery?
It's fun! We don't talk about it. Don't think about it too much.
The fun island is just slavery. You're forcing them to mine for you.
But they like it.
No. No, they probably don't.
Yeah, we don't think about it too hard, okay? Please. It's just... Okay, the next island...
This is why it's called the Island of Fun, RJ.
Alright, the next isle is the Isle Level Up. It's an island where you can send your Pokemon basically to a tropical bar to get drinks where they can... Drinks such as a special defense booster, a speed booster, which we assume boost effort values, EVs, or they can get a level boost drink, which increases their experience. So now the Pokemon in your boxes can still gain experience. So you're like, hey, I have a bunch of Pokemon that I want to level up all at once. Just send them to that island and have them drink up some delicious, delicious rare candy juice.
Okay, so this sounds a lot better than slavery.
Way better than the Isle of Fun.
Yeah.
Fourth, I can't count. The fourth island we have seen, we don't know the name of it yet, but it looks to be a berry growing farm.
Slavery? Is it a plantation?
No, it's not on that scale. It's just a tiny little we're growing a few berries.
Plantation.
No. I do like, though, the screenshot of it has a Metapod working in the berry farm, which I'm not sure how that works out, considering Metapod is inert. It's a cocoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wanted to talk about something? Was it Pokemon related? Because I do have one other thing I want to get through, I think.
Go ahead and get through it.
Okay. Before I get into the Pokemon distribution events that are currently going on, there was a European trailer that got released on Friday. Previously, we had known about 4 trial captains, which seem to be replacements for the gyms in Alola, because we don't know anything about any gyms in Alola.
That's odd.
Sorry, I'm looking something up. We know about 4 of these trial captains currently. There's Lana, who is a water-type specialist, Mallow, who is a grass-type specialist, Sophocles, an electric-type specialist, and, I'm gonna butcher this name, Kiawa, if that's incorrect, please let me know and how to pronounce it, who's a fire-type specialist. However, the European trailer hinted at a 5th trial captain named Elima. We don't know anything about this person other than that they are likely a 5th trial captain. So that's interesting. That's big news. What else am I missing? Actually, I forgot. On the October 18th, the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo is coming out. This demo pairs you up with a special Greninja with the ability Battle Bond. This ability, when the Greninja knocks out an enemy Pokemon, changes it to the Ash Greninja form from the anime. We don't know what this does or why it's happening, but it is.
Okay.
And when Sun and Moon come out, you can transfer this Greninja into your game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It would imply, though, that the game world has their own version of Ash.
Oh.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. It's real cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
A lot of people have been up in arms and like, oh, no, Ash Greninja, why are they putting this in the games? But it's like, because it's really popular and it's from the anime, so of course they're gonna put it in. I don't personally care either way. Like, oh, hey, it's this cool thing in a demo I'm gonna play anyway, so might as well. Mm-hmm. And I do especially like, though, that they made this form change. Well, a lot of people thought, like, oh, it's gonna be Synchro Evolution, which still not sure how that would work, or like a special version of Mega Evolution. No, they did it as an ability. So Greninja's best ability by far is Protean, which changes its ability to match the type of the move it's about to use. I'd be interested to see if Battle Bond, which turns into Ash Greninja, is more useful than Protean to Greninja. I would like to see what kind of stat boost it gets, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't have a whole lot of words for that.
That's fine. Now, is your thing still Pokemon related, or like, do you want to put it in between the Pokemon stuff and me talking about the event Pokemon, or?
No, I mean, there were questions about Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Ask away.
Okay, so I want to know how you feel about the whole island theme for the region of this Pokemon game.
Like having the multiple islands?
Yeah, and just like the whole culture thing. And
I think it's great. I can't wait to see how they play out in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say. I do like the island theme. Like, you travel from one island to the next as you go through your little Pokemon adventure. I don't know what else to say about that, honestly. I think it's nice. What do you think?
Island themes remind me of the tastes of pineapple.
I'm not a big pineapple person.
I love pineapple.
Okay.
Oh,
actually, because
coconuts.
This is our first episode.
What?
This is our first episode, which means we do have to talk about Alolan Exeggutor. Thoughts?
Wait, say that again?
Alolan Exeggutor.
Alolan Exeggutor? I don't know what you're talking about.
Now you do.
Oh, is that an Exeggutor in Alola?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's a grass dragon type.
Oh my god.
It is 35 feet tall.
If you bring your Exeggutor...
No, that's not how it works. You have to have an Exeggcute, or Exeggcute? I don't know how to pronounce
Execute.
it. Yeah, if you catch one in Alola, or one from Alola, will evolve into an Alolan Exeggutor when exposed to a grass stone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It looks so goofy.
I love it! It's 35 feet tall!
I love that it's like up there in goofiness with Dragonite, which is probably why it's a dragon. Actually,
Execute was originally supposed to be a grass dragon type, but they wanted a dragon type to be very rare in the first generation, and it was already going to be used for Dragonite's line, so they went with Psychic instead, which did fit thematically because of the head thing, like the multiple heads.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I love it.
Also, real quick, because I don't think you noticed it, just looking at it, Alolan Exeggutor has a fourth head.
I don't know how to feel about that fourth head.
It's so cute. I love it.
Do they have separate consciousnesses?
They can communicate.
No, but like, are they like separate thought?
I think multiple-headed Pokemon, generally each head has their own personality, but they can all work together.
Okay, all right, that's what I was asking, because I was thinking just how bad would it be to be the tailhead?
I mean, you're watching out for stuff on the ground, and you can get your orders from your trainer, because otherwise Exeggutor wouldn't be able to know what the heck is going on. I do not think I'm going to use...
I think like a wild executor in Aloha is like being the tailhead would be the worst experience ever. Like your whole body would just be walking along in the grass, and you'd just be kind of like dragged along, looking at all the grass. Like, this is the worst experience I can possibly imagine. Being a Pokemon is being the tailhead of an Alola Executor.
See, my thing is, I want to use a Alolan Executor real bad, but my thing is, I'm in my first
you don't want
playthrough.
That thing staring at you?
No, in my first playthrough, I'm only going to use like the brand new Alolan Pokemon, not like old form remixes. So my first Sun playthrough will probably have an Alolan Executor on the team.
Yeah.
Also,
how could you not?
They have shown footage of Alolan Executor in battle. And you know how usually they try to scale it so the entire Pokemon fits in the screen? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Alolan Executor does not fit in the screen at all. Like, you see the bottom, like, tail head, and then just the trunk going up into the sky.
Awesome.
It's so good. Actually, fun fact for you, it gets a new move called Dragon Hammer, which we don't know anything about and just assumed was Wood Hammer for a while. Until some trailer was like, oh no, it's Dragon Hammer. It's just Executor slamming its head down.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's exactly what I imagine.
Did you have any other questions, thoughts, concerns, opinions on Pokemon stuff?
No, I think I'm out.
Okay. Tap out? We're tapping out?
Yeah, I'm Pokemon'd out.
Okay.
So if you want
I do want to get through those event Pokemon real quick.
Yeah, if you just want to do that.
Currently running are 3 legendary event Pokemon distributions. There's a Keldeo event going on via internet. To get Keldeo, go to the Mystery Gift option on the main menu. Select Receive Gift, and then Get via Internet. If you're connected to the internet while you're doing this, you'll receive a Keldeo in your game. I don't recall when this one ends. I will get that information for our next episode. The second event currently ongoing is a Darkrai event. It is a serial code event. The code itself is Darkrai, DARKRAI, D is capitalized on Darkrai, 20, Darkrai 20. The third event currently ongoing is the Hoopa event. This is going to end on the 9th, so like the day this episode is going up, hopefully. If it goes up on the 10th, well, so sorry. It is also a serial code event, and the code is 2016, and then in all capital letters, HOOPA, 2016, not 2006, 2016 Hoopa. Again, that one ends on the 9th, which is probably the day this episode's going out. If it goes out later, you're out of luck. So sorry.
It'll be entirely my fault.
Yeah, that's entirely John's fault. Get mad at John.
I should be the one apologizing for that.
Honestly, you know what, John? I think we finally just got through our first episode.
Yeah.
I think there's only a few more things we have to talk about.
How do you feel about us getting through our first episode?
Thirsty. I'm very dehydrated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was this experience for you?
I'm gonna chug 10 glasses of water.
Awesome.
No, it's gonna be real bad. I think there's only one other thing for us to talk about before we head off, and that is our internet presence. We already have a Twitter, our own website, and an email. And I think, John, what else do we have?
By the time this episode goes up, we'll also have a YouTube.
Really? You're gonna put these on YouTube?
I will.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna put these on SoundCloud too?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because I found a way to host the sound files themselves without SoundCloud, which just means that I'm cutting SoundCloud out of the equation entirely, because if you don't need SoundCloud, it seems like it's in poor taste to have SoundCloud.
Oh, I know some people who like using SoundCloud.
Good for them.
All right, so you can find us at Twitter, at Super Potion Cast, all lowercase. Super Potion Podcast was too long, and Super Potion was already taken. We have our own website, as we talked about earlier, which is superpotion.net. And you can send us an email at superpotionpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send in questions or just comments or concerns, things we could do better and improve upon, send them my way. I'll read them.
I won't.
John won't. I will.
Unless RJ tells me to.
Unless I tell him to. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, do you want to do the closing?
Of course.
Do we have a closing?
I'm RJ.
And I'm John.
This has been Super Potion. We hope to see you again.